This video I will try to convey 3 reasons why you should read The Shadow of the Fox. Hi guys, it's Isa and welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna do a spoiler-free and then spoiler review of The Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. Here on this channel I do book recommendations and reviews. I publish bookish content every Thursday and Sunday for you to enjoy. If you wanna stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and if you end up loving this video, give it a thumbs up. Things to know about Shadow of the Fox. First, this is a YA trilogy and it's already finished. The books are short, they are 350 pages, they are fast-paced, and I believe there's a great blend between a character-driven and a very plot-driven story. Also, each of these books kind of concludes, so we know that the stakes are higher and higher, but there's a thread that gets concluded, so there's not this massive commitment of really going into 3 books, right, and non-stopping. You might do that because you will be sucked by the story, but you will be also satisfied with how the different stories end. Shadow of the Fox takes place in a medieval Japanese setting, and we will see a lot of folklore. We'll see different demons, different monsters, different gods. This story is sweet, it is really cute, it will warm your heart, and under my point of view, it is highly emotional. It strikes a punch to the heart. Also, it has a slow burn romance, and I found in Spotify the best soundtrack for this series, which I will link down below
because it's a phenomenal.
Let's start with the first 3 things that you really need to know and that hopefully will sold you to read this series. The first one is the story, and this book tells the story of a world in which every 1,000 years a dragon might be summoned, and when summoned it will grant a wish. This wish has been used in the past to obtain immortality, to have a sword that can hold a demon, you name it. The wish is able to tip completely the scales of power. In order to summon the dragon, you need to have this scroll. And after the last wish 1,000 years ago, the scroll was torn into pieces and it was divided in hopes of keeping it safe from evil. Because right now we are a couple of breaths away from the night of the dragon, the night when someone can summon again this dragon, and
of course
everyone that is evil is looking for this scroll. And we start the story in one of the temples that has a piece of the scroll, and in there we meet Yumeko. She is a kitsune, so she is half woman, half fox, and she has all her life lived in this temple, kind of taking care of the scroll with some monks. But suddenly one night something goes really wrong and everyone is killed, leaving Yumeko alone and in a mission of taking this piece of a scroll and take it to safety, starting a crazy mission of going throughout the whole land to another of these secret temples in hopes of getting the scroll better defended. Which takes me to the second thing that is amazing from this book, which is the tropes. This book is mainly a quest. We will follow Yumeko through the land. We will follow her on how she starts going from this temple to another temple and how she will meet different characters along the way. This reads almost as a video game. Actually, we'll see how they need to defeat different small bosses before getting into like big bosses, and we will see how Yumeko starts to bond with different characters and how the family is growing and growing, and how the banter of the characters is amazing. The dynamics that they create, the love that you can see, the romances. It has a slow burn, it has also a queer romance. It really stilled my heart. The third thing is the characters, and I've not been able to move from this story. We start with Yumeko. She is sweet, she is naive, and although she has been all her life just living in this temple and being very isolated, and also she has this kitsune nature, she always sees good in people, and she does that in a way that actually people started to reflect that, and she is this lighthouse in the darkness. She is able to bring the evilest of the characters into a good side, and she is just pure light, pure love, and I really, really loved her. Then we have Tatsumi, who is a very skilled samurai that belongs to this shadow clan. This shadow clan is one of the most dangerous clans out there, and he is the bearer of the demon sword, this sword that is holding one of the generals of hell within the sword, and is constantly trying to pick Tatsumi's brain in order to get free, but he is able to, master it and use it in fights and just take also its power. And Tatsumi is really introvert. He has learned to master his senses. He has really been working on mastering and concealing his emotions because he needs to keep the demon in the sword. But when he meets Yumeko, the relationship starts to build and to blossom, and he is actually the first one that joins into this quest with Yumeko, and she actually makes him in a way, or convinces him in a way, to travel with her into this temple, and he starts to defend her. And he doesn't really know how or why, but he feels that he is understood by Yumeko, and the relationship between the two is just so lovely to see. And the hardship that Tatsumi passes, it's but then we will also have more characters that will go with Yumeko and Tatsumi. We will have this Ronin, we will have this vigilante samurai that it's kind of the best swordsman out there. We will have a priest.
Unforgettable.
So first book, it's more on presenting the characters and presenting the quest. The second book, it's a little bit more of a continuation of the quest, but it's way more on how the bond and the different relationships between the characters are evolving. And the third book, it's mainly a war story. And I think that each of these books is really strong. The first one I loved. The second one doesn't have the second book syndrome at all. Actually was one of my favorites. And the third one, it's just a little bit heartbreaking. And now I'll start with the spoiler section. So if you haven't read this series, now it's time for you to go, unless you want to remain and see what happens. But I'm gonna go straight to the ending. So this is gonna be like
the spoiliest thing in the world.
Okay, now, what was that ending? I wasn't expecting this to be as emotional as it was. I thought I expected one character to die. Okay, I would accepted two characters to die, but all of them? That was so crazy. And also, I thought that it was really poetic how Julie Kagawa started killing the different characters in the same order that Yumeko met them. So when I picked that up, I was a fair amount of time really anxious because I didn't want Tatsumi to die, and it was like,
oh no, Daisuke is dead. No, the Ronin is also dead, and now it's just Tatsumi.
But I was like, maybe he's not gonna die. But he did. It tore me in pieces, and how sweet it was how Yumeko was able to free the demon from the sword, and how he has also changed now because he was merged with Tatsumi, and how also he wants to get away from Yumeko because he thinks that she will make him good. That was so sweet, and that made me cry so hard. Not as hard as how the last lines of the book, where we see how Tatsumi has finally found again Yumeko in another reincarnation, and he says, I finally found you. I don't want to cry, but that was so sweet. I must confess that all the part with his dad being this kitsune, master of nine tails, all of that, I was kind of expecting it, so it was a little bit predictable for me, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I don't think this book It's great because it was unpredictable. I think it's good because of how it made me feel, and it really made me feel happy. It really made me feel that I was bonding with the characters, that I was really into this setting, that it was just so beautifully told. And I'm missing this story so much. And that was it for today. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel, and please let me know down below, are you gonna read this book? Did I convince you to read this book? Please tell me I did. If I didn't, please let me know what other books encourage these feelings to you, so that I can maybe jump to your list also. And I really hope to see you real soon in other videos. Bye.